Welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. Your English will improve today. My name is Gabe, and I was just thinking about something here at the office. I want you to think for a second about the people you really like hanging out with. What makes that person so enjoyable to spend time with? Now, would that same person you're thinking of be a great person to work for? In other words, can you imagine he or she being an effective boss? The name of today's lesson is The Most Popular Boss is Almost Never the Best Boss. We started discussing this interesting idea yesterday with 3 examples of supervisors, one named Jim, another named Dwight, and then Angela. Angela's crew was most effective at doing their jobs, and her employees were promoted at a higher rate than the employees of the other 2. This means she must be pretty popular with her staff, right? Well, we shall see about that very soon.
The most popular boss is almost never the best boss. Employees like Angela. She was friendly, courteous, and respectful. But they didn't love her. She listened but never hesitated to make tough calls. She was supportive but never hesitated to be frank. In short, she got results. And she was the best boss I ever had. She'd let me know when my best really wasn't. She put me into unfamiliar roles so I could grow. In the moment, I didn't always appreciate her, but later, I definitely did. With Angela, neither popularity nor unpopularity correlated with results. Results correlated with results.
Hello everyone, welcome to Language Lab. I'm Jack. 我们今天要先来看形容词 unfamiliar. 在文章里 unfamiliar 是指不熟悉。譬如说 Randy just got a new phone and it feels very unfamiliar to him. Randy 刚拿到新手机，整个感觉很不熟悉。或是 These roads look unfamiliar to me. I think we might be lost. 这些路看起来都很陌生，我们也许迷路了。Unfamiliar 也可以用来指不懂或是不了解。譬如说 Lynette thinks football is boring because she is unfamiliar with the rules. Lynette 认为足球很无聊，是因为她对球赛规则完全不懂。接下来要看的字是 unpopularity. Unpopularity 是一个名词，意思是不受欢迎。我们来看例句。The mayor's growing unpopularity is forcing him to reconsider his policies. 市长因为越来越不受欢迎而开始检讨他的政策。或是 The actress is aware of her unpopularity and knows she needs to find a different kind of role to play in her next movie. 女演员清楚自己很不受欢迎，所以她下一部电影的角色一定要非常不一样。再来一句。The unpopularity of the queen made it hard for her to appear in public. 皇后因为不受欢迎，让她很难在公众面前出现。
Thank you very much, Jack. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be back with you today as we continue discussing what makes a good leader. My name is Rebecca.
Well, you're a good leader, Rebecca.
Yes, I knew you were going to say that.
And a great coworker. And just like Angela, everybody likes you. Well, the employees here in our lesson, employees liked Angela. She was friendly, courteous, and respectful. And I would say those are 3 words that we could use to describe you.
Oh, I'm friendly, courteous, and respectful.
You sure are.
Well, thank you very much, Gabe. I appreciate that.
See, there's an example of her courtesy. She's politely thanking me for a compliment. Anyway, it's good to be courteous, friends. But how does our lesson continue about Angela?
Well, we read, but they, of course, referring to the employees, they didn't love her. She listened but never hesitated to make tough calls. Now, I think it's interesting because when we talk about how the employees didn't love her, they take that word love and they put it in quotation marks.
Yeah, I have a theory about that.
And what's your theory, Gabe?
Well, it's because of the way we sometimes use the word love. Oh man, I love that guy, or I love that girl, right? Or I love that person because they're a really awesome or fun person to be around. It's kind of like the way we saw the sentences in yesterday's lesson. He's the best, or she's the best, right? Oh, I love her. But people don't feel that way, don't feel quite that way about Angela. They like her, but they don't like her like that.
Well, that's a very good point. I like your theory. Well, there's something else we would like to take a look at in the following sentence, and that is to make a tough call or to make tough calls. What does that mean?
Yeah, well, if you make a tough call, this is not referring to making a phone call. Of course, you use the word make when you talk about dialing a phone number and calling somebody. You can make a phone call. But when you make tough calls, the word call here means decision. You're making a difficult decision, especially a decision that affects other people, especially a decision that might make other people upset.
Exactly. And leaders often have to make tough calls. Doctors sometimes have to make tough calls. Usually wherever there's an emergency, sometimes someone involved might have to make a tough call.
You're absolutely right about that. Well, think of another situation where someone might have to make a tough call. Or friends, have you ever had to make a tough call? Perhaps recently? Talk about that in English. But we continue here. She was supportive but never hesitated to be frank. Now that word frank, it's not just the name of a handsome sound man who works here at Studio Classroom. Frank means to be open or honest or direct in speech and writing, especially when discussing unpleasant things.
That's right. For example, to be frank with you, I don't think it's a good idea for us to go camping this weekend. I know you really want to go, and I know we've been planning it for a long time, but I don't think it's a good idea.
See, as you can see, the person Rebecca's talking to was really looking forward to going camping, and so it was an unpleasant conversation. But sometimes you have to be direct. Sometimes you just have to be frank. In fact, we might precede this word. Before this word, we might tell the person we're going to be direct. We might say, "Let me be frank with you."
Exactly. Well, we continue with our lesson. In short, she got results. Angela got results. And we read, and she was the best boss I ever had. She let me know when my best really wasn't.
Okay, so that word best is in quotation marks. That means the author, the person writing, thought that her work was the best she could do, but Angela encouraged her in another way and said, actually, I think you can do better. We read here, she put into unfamiliar roles so I could grow. This person was put into unfamiliar roles. We read on, in the moment, I didn't always appreciate her. In the moment. In Chinese, you might say 当下, or you might think that's translated when it happened, but the better phrase is in the moment.
That's right. For example, you could say, in the moment, it seemed like a really good idea to buy a plane ticket and go on vacation, but after thinking about it, it really wasn't a good idea.
All right, so are there some decisions that you make because you didn't think very much about it? Maybe in the moment you thought it was a good idea, but later you realized it wasn't. Okay, well, we continue here. With Angela, neither popularity nor unpopularity correlated with results. What correlates with results? Results correlate with results. You just need to see the fruit of something, the results.
Exactly. Well, right now, friends, it's time for us to learn something about calling the shots in the Info Cloud.
Welcome to Info Cloud. Today, I'm calling the shots. What do you mean, Emery?
I mean, I'm in charge of the program today. I'm choosing what topics to discuss.
Okay then, you're the boss.
That's what calling the shots means, to be in charge.
For example, Mark may not be the CEO, but he is clearly calling the shots in the company.
This phrase may come from sports or the military.
In games like billiards, someone might call or say which ball they plan to hit and which hole they expect it to go into.
Similarly, in target practice, the shooter may first predict what they will hit, so they are calling their shot.
So accuracy is important when calling the shots.
That's true. And you have to be good at what you do if you want to be in a position to call the shots.
But if you get tired of calling the shots, you can always call it quits.
That means to give up on something or to stop working toward a goal. The grammar is a bit unusual here because there is an S on the end of quits. Don't forget the S if you use the phrase to call it quits.
今天要跟大家分享的这个用语是 calling the shots。这个用语经常被用来代表指挥。如果有人问 Who's calling the shots here？ 那就是在问现在是谁在指挥，谁最大的意思。Calling the shots 是撞球运动的用语，选手要击球的时候必须很精准的说出你要打几号球进去哪一个洞。指挥的人也是一样，指令越清楚，跟随的人就越容易执行。另一方面，如果要放弃一项工作或任务，你可以用 call it quits 来形容。This project is failing, and my boss is calling it quits. 这个企划案失败了，我老板要放弃这个案子。这就是今天的 Info Cloud， 我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Welcome back to Studio Classroom. Today, friends, we're continuing to learn about the idea of what makes a good boss. Is it a boss who is really popular? Everybody loves being around this person? Or is it someone who doesn't hesitate to make tough calls? Someone who does not hesitate to be frank with people when they need to be frank and really honest and direct about something? Those are some words and phrases that we discussed earlier. Well, let's continue learning about what makes a good boss right now.
The most popular boss is almost never the best boss. Sure, likability matters. Likability is crucial to building and maintaining great relationships. Likability is crucial in influencing the people around you. Likeable people tend to be more successful in sales, more able to enlist the help of others, and more likely to be hired and promoted. Likability is a huge driver of success, but not at the expense of the results you need for your business. You owe it to your business to create certain outcomes. That's the job. But you also owe it to your employees to help them grow. Because that's also the job, even if, sometimes, they don't always love you for it.
我们再来看下一个字 likability。likability 是一个名词，意思是讨人喜欢的特质，或是让人有好感的程度。譬如说 It was Mike's likability that allowed him to get his first job. Mike 会找到他第一份工作，是因为他很讨人喜欢。或是 Tamara was so worried about her likability that she forgot all her responsibilities. Tamara 担心他是否会讨人喜欢，结果却忘了他所有的责任。再来一句 People voted for that candidate simply because of his likability and not because of his competence. 人民投票给那位候选人是因为他给人的好感度，而不是因为他的做事能力。最后我们要看的字是动词 enlist， 在文章里 to enlist 的意思是获得支援或帮助。譬如说 The charitable event enlisted the help of many volunteers， 那个慈善活动有很多志工来帮忙。或是 The evil prince wanted to take over the throne and he tried to enlist the support of the general， 那个邪恶的王子想要抢王位，他试着获得将军的支持。To enlist 也有入伍的意思，譬如说 In the movie, a young man decides to quit school and enlist to fight in the war。 在电影里，一位年轻人休了学，然后入伍去打仗。Alright, let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you very much, Jack.
Jack's a likable guy, huh?
Of course he is. Everybody likes Jack.
I'm glad we enlisted him to come help out here at Studio Classroom.
Oh, we couldn't choose anyone better.
And I just used both of those words. Yes! Okay, let's continue with our lesson here. We see this word sure at the beginning of this section. Sure, likability matters. And then we continue. It's interesting how that word is used here, right? Well, let's take a look at it. Here, this is used to answer a question that wasn't actually asked, okay? Or to agree with something that many people already think. So many people already think it's important to be likable. You could imagine somebody asking, is likability important? So here's your answer.
Okay, that's right. And here's another example as to how you can use this word sure. Sure, it's important to make money. Everyone needs money, but money isn't everything in life.
And I'm glad you used the word but, because when we say an example with the word sure like this, sure it's important to make money, or sure likability matters, usually sometime later in the conversation there's going to be a but or a however, and you're going to see it here pretty soon. But let's continue learning about likability. Likability is crucial to building and maintaining great relationships.
Likability is crucial in influencing the people around you. So as you can see, it is important to a certain degree to be likable.
Right, of course, everyone, at least a lot of people, most people I know, want to be liked by other people, so they strive for likability. And our lesson says it's crucial to building important relationships. If it's something is crucial, that means it's necessary. It's an essential part of something.
That's right. We read likable people tend to be more successful in sales, more able to enlist the help of others, and more likely to be hired and promoted. You know, Gabe, have you ever gone to the store or somewhere and there's a salesperson there?
Yeah.
Are they usually really friendly?
Well, yeah.
Yes, of course. I've noticed that with salespeople. They tend to be very friendly, very likable people. Do you know why?
Because they're selling something.
They're selling something. And of course, people like to buy stuff from friendly, nice people.
And so that's why likable people often become salesmen, saleswomen, or salesmen, right? Because that's an important part of their job. So of course it doesn't mean that they're fake. It doesn't mean they're always trying to sell something, because I'm sure they're likable in their normal relationships as well. But we read on here, likability is a huge driver of success.
And we read, but, here's that but we've been waiting for, but not at the expense of the results you need for your business. And we would like to take a look at this phrase, at the expense of something.
Okay, so at the expense. This is done in a way that causes harm or causes you to neglect something else. That's very important. Now you see the word expense in that phrase, so you might be thinking of a price. That's kind of the idea here, okay? It's like this action that you do causes somebody else to pay for it.
That's right. For example, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with teasing people once in a while as long as everybody's having fun. However, I never think it's a good thing to tease someone or find enjoyment in teasing someone at the expense of someone else's happiness.
That's right. So if you tease someone at someone's expense, then that means everyone else might be having a good time, but in a way it's like that person is paying by kind of becoming not happy and not satisfied with the social situation, okay? And perhaps something might happen with the friendships if something happens at someone's expense. So there are many situations where you can use that phrase, but we continue here with another important phrase. You owe it to your business to create certain outcomes. Now, if you owe it to somebody to do something, that means you have a responsibility or a duty to do something. You feel like you should do something because it's expected.
That's right, and you owe it to your business to create certain outcomes. That's the job. But we see this phrase again, but you also owe it to your employees to help them grow. As leaders, you are responsible to your employees. You want to see them grow and do anything and everything in your power to help them grow in many different ways.
Okay, so you're looking for two things according to our lesson: good outcomes or results and growth for your team. Because that's also the job, even if sometimes they don't always love you for it. Obviously, not their real names this is kind of referring to all those places where you see the little asterisks. So it's not the real names of the people used in our lesson, but it's describing a real situation. Friends, right now let's continue with a skit.
Well, Mrs. Jones, how is the planning coming along for the new project?
Actually, it's coming along very well, Mr. Smith.
Oh, really?
Yes, I enlisted the help of the art department. They're working on the new designs right now.
Great. And what about the new schedule?
Oh, no problem. I enlisted the help of the new secretary. She's working on it right now.
Well, very good. And what about the budget?
Oh, I enlisted our top accountant to help with that.
Oh, so everything is coming along? Everything will be ready on time?
Yes, sir. In fact, I've enlisted so much help, I can just sit back and relax.
Just a moment, Mrs. Jones. Since you have some extra time, here are some other projects you can work on. And there's this project, and this project.
But Mr. Smith...
And this one. Now, take those and get busy. Come on now. Go, go, go. Chop, chop. Thank you for your service. There. Now that I've enlisted her help, I can sit back and relax.
Well, maybe that skit gave you some ideas about how to enlist other people. You know, I learned quite a bit through this lesson. I think it's a great reminder that popularity or unpopularity, those kinds of things don't correlate with results. Results correlate with results. So if you're a boss, be a boss that can get good results. Of course, try to be likable as well, but get those results. Well, friends, we have another completely different lesson next time for you right here on Studio Classroom. We'll see you then.
A good friend lasts a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.